Welcome to Awakening You channel. If you appreciate what we do, please support us. Thank you. Loved you. As the old cycle of trial and atonement comes to an end, man's consciousness expands, so that all can recall the memories of their experiences in this school of duality. All souls who have chosen to go through polarities in this experiment, now feel that time is running out. As the great master said 2000 years ago, a new age is fast approaching now. The cycles of change do not necessarily mean that something physical or visible to the physical eye manifests itself in the form of things or places. It's all about a state of awareness. The new Earth, for example, will be right here on this planet, and yet the way of feeling and being will be completely different, because the expanded consciousnesses will have a different vision and a different reality. Hundreds, or even thousands of incarnations ago, the souls alternately lived in every possible and imaginable way, within the duality offered by this school. With each reincarnation, in the form of a human as we are here, the soul lived as different characters. Therefore, we call everyone a person, or persona if you prefer, because everyone is a cluster of different personalities, when we lived here in the human experience. A school cannot complete a cycle without offering all opportunities to its students. Earth is no different. Throughout the ancient cycle, it offered every opportunity for its students to gain knowledge through their individual and collective experiences, as different characters in each incarnation. Among these experiences, today we will talk specifically about narcissism. Many of you have reported having someone with these traits in your family. Yes, it is in the families that we suffer the most from the malicious actions of those with such a personality. It is clear that we also suffer indirectly as a collective, especially when someone in charge possesses this personality, and because of their actions, everyone is affected. Before we talk about the narcissist, let's once again remind everyone that no one is a victim, because today's victims used to be perpetrators, and vice versa. We are in a school where duality is the rule. If today you suffer from the presence of a narcissist, then it is very likely that you were one of them in a previous incarnation. It is the end of the cycle, and no experience can be left there. The incarnated soul currently living with such a personality will not be decisive as to whether or not the ascension takes place. It will be an average value from all schools. The risk is to exaggerate and lower this average value to something insufficient in the frequency index required for soul ascension. Many souls now incarnated, have lessons left for this existence, lessons that can still be dangerous regarding its frequency. Therefore, by experiencing them, you may risk failure. And narcissism is no exception. This personality, when very strong, can still add a large dose of vanity, pride, inflated ego, and finally, an irresistible desire for power over others. This desire for power is not always shown to everyone. Most of the time, the narcissist is very friendly outwardly, but to some people who are closer to them, they show their truly controlling claws. It looks like they handpick their victims, as they say. And once they get their claws into them, they barely let go in the current incarnation. It is easy to identify a narcissist in a family group. Besides being cunning, he is an architect with incredible plans. They prepare the ground carefully to keep their victims under control at all times. They often use their weakness, pretending to be the indispensable savior. They exhibit qualities they do not actually possess, but which are reason enough to gain the trust of the intended victim. They can also help in one way or another, especially when their victim needs it the most, as this makes you dependent on them. Creating this dependency is the strategy that keeps the other chained. This is why the narcissist's victims cannot escape their grip. Most often, when other members of the group are present, the narcissist gives the impression of being loving and kind to their victims. This creates a false impression and they will use it to their advantage when the victim complains to others. They know how to use this tool of persuasion. Ultimately, the narcissist's victim is also misinterpreted by the rest of the group. They think they are playing victim for no reason. The narcissist is also by nature an incredible controller. Often he keeps his victims as close as possible. So much so that when the opportunity will go away, they can even help to find a solution, which makes it possible to keep the victim as close as possible. The narcissist also has an innately manipulative side. This page he uses masterfully. Works behind the scenes and directs his actions according to the objectives. Of course, he does not mind doing good deeds and doing charity, as long as such methods are directed towards his goals. Therefore, we can state that a narcissist is also very willing in certain situations. Everything described here is not judgmental, but rather an assessment that enables greater understanding, showing other paths for victims. A narcissist is not a bad soul. They live up to the personality they lacked from their web of human experiences. But what is clear is that if one does not heal or at least discipline themselves, there will be serious consequences as a result of their actions. Remember that we are in the ultimate incarnation of duality on planet Earth. And this brings us back to the understanding that we should be aware that the experiences do not have to continue for a lifetime. We just need to be aware of which personality we are in each situation, and consciously adjust the harmony of the timeline moving towards soul ascension. It is therefore up to the narcissist's victim to understand that the other lives in his not yet experienced personality. But above all, you must understand that they too needed to experience the other side, because over there in a previous existence, they were perpetrators. Not confronting, and not developing any kind of hostility, is always a recommended outcome. But also when all this is understood, and the lessons are settled, then really, nothing or no one forces anyone to hang out with those they don't feel comfortable with. This is not the same as running away from the lessons, but it is understanding these lessons and ending the cycle. I am Vital Frozy and my mission is to enlighten. Namaste.